Thank you, Madam President. It is fit to see you presiding as we converse about this resolution. Thank you to Senator Salazar for her incredible words, and thank you to Leader Stewart-Cousins for being consistent in sponsoring this necessary resolution. And so when you think about the amazing accomplishments of women, not just the women that we serve with, but the women who run the Senate, and not just our majority leader, who is a history maker who runs the Senate. The Secretary of the Senate is a woman, Alejandra Paulino. If you think about the majority's chief of staff and lead counsel, she is a woman, Chantel Smith. So quite frankly, the Senate is being run by women, and it could be attributed to to the greatness that we've been having over the last few years. I want to make sure that I would be remiss if I didn't recognize the great Renee Montgomery, who I didn't get a chance to speak about her when she came up, but I wanted to make sure that she knew that we all follow in her footsteps, and she inspires so many women, but she inspires young men like me. So I wanted to make sure that we continue to give Senator Montgomery her flowers while we can. And I was thinking about what I was going to speak about today, and I'm always inspired by the amazing women in my life, my amazing wife, my daughters, my mother, my grandmothers, my aunts, my adopted aunts, my play cousins, everybody. But I was reading something this morning. It was by a British sprinter by the name of Dina Smith. It was in the Players Tribune, and it was called Who We Elevate. And those of you who know me know I am a huge sports fan, and sometimes in sports, women are overlooked for no good reason. And if we think about what women have done in sports that have gone recognized and unrecognized, I want to illustrate some of that. So we talk about social justice movements, and we don't hear much about the women who lead the social justice movements as we do the men. But I want to tell you about when the protests were happening over this summer with the Black Lives Matter protests. The NBA players got a lot of credit, but the WNBA players were first. And quite frankly, the WNBA players went out on a limb. The Atlanta Dream, amazing women in the WNBA. Their team was owned by an individual who decried the notion of Black Lives Matter. Not only did they oppose that, they showed up with shirts that said Black Lives Matter. And it turns out that after that took place, and after Kelly Loeffler lost the seat, the Atlanta Dream were pivotal in making sure there was recognition about the Senate race with Senator Warnock. Not only did that take place, now Renee Montgomery, a former WNBA player, world champion, and all-star, is now the owner of the Atlanta Dream. This is the power of women. Maya Moore, one of the greatest basketball players of all time, in the midst of a Hall of Fame basketball career, she stopped. The reason why she stopped was because she wanted to pursue justice, the exoneration of Jonathan Irons. Maya Moore, one of the greats, one of my favorites, stopped a Hall of Fame career to pursue justice. Amazing women. We know about the 2019 World Cup, Megan Rapinoe and so many women on that team showed young women what it was like. But I refer back to this Who We Elevate article by Dina Smith, and she said something that was incredibly poignant, and I want to make sure I get it word for word. I quote, "I wanted to write this for all of the 8-year-old girls who are thinking about getting into sport but have doubts, fears, and questions, and for all the young women who might be thinking about giving up sports. Why don't we see more of their stories, more of their images? Why have they not been elevated to cross over to transcend our sporting world? Why aren't their achievements and legacies familiar to more of us, like those of Messi, Ronaldo, Tiger Woods, Michael Phelps, Usain Bolt, and all the other amazing sportsmen? To be clear, I don't need this stuff to feel whole. We don't need it. We want to win. We want to be our best, to be the best. But we can see the double standard. And while we see it, the 8-year-old girl can't." I think about when we have the conversation about the GOAT, about the greatest of all time. If you're not saying Serena followed by Williams, I'm not sure who is the greatest athlete of all time aside from Serena Williams, who made it to the final of a major while 7 months pregnant. Aside from that, she is the greatest athlete irrespective of that. But that is something that we don't recognize in her true greatness. I think about Becky Hammond, a woman who should be a head coach in the NBA. I think about how excited I was when the Liberty drafted Sabrina Ionescu, who was one of the greatest college basketball players of all time, but quite frankly didn't get the same credit that male college basketball players get. But if you look at her stats, she was completely dominant at the University of Oregon. I think about Michelle Roberts, a Bronxite, Madam President, the first woman to lead a professional sports union. She's the head of the NBA Players Association. So she's from the Bronx, and she's a woman. Sounds like a winner to me, Madam President. And I think about the up-and-coming stars like Naomi Osaka, who is a legend in the making. But I think about Allison Felix, one of the sprinters that we know from the Olympics. And one of the things that she did is she spoke up about Nike not offering support for women with pregnancy complications. I think that we have to make sure that we recognize the role that women are consistently playing in our lives in the world of sports. I think about great sports journalists like Kimberly Martin and Taylor Rooks and Carrie Champion and so many other amazing women who break barriers every single day with reporting on the news. But I think about the GOAT, in my opinion, the GOATs. You might not have heard about them yet. Their names are Giada and Karina Bailey. Those are my daughters. And when I was thinking about what to say with the sports, I was putting it together. This past summer, I set up a couple of Fisher-Price hoops in my yard. And my daughters like to play basketball, right? And my daughter, she made a basket, and she said something that was so poignant, something that was so incredible, and something that I kind of live by every day. She said, if you can't win, you win. If you don't win, you still win. If you believe in your heart and your strength, this is what you got. That's my 6-year-old daughter who inspires me every single day. That is the reason why we need to make sure we recognize the accomplishments of women. And I don't know if either Giada or Karina will ever play professional sports. I don't know if they'll play sports beyond the yard. But the most important thing, like Dina Asher Smith said about who we elevate, they need to know that not only can they can play just as well as men, if not better. So, Madam President, I thank you for the opportunity to speak in this resolution, and I thank the leader for introducing it.